This is Global Forum TV. In our new series today, India 2025, we bring you eminent personalities from India and share their vision, comments and opinions about what India would look like in 2025. This is your host, Ameena, Saeed.
The mantra to understand India is Gandhi. Once you understand Gandhi, then you know the way out is there.
If you are going to promote chauvinism of the majority, or what I call chauvinism of the majority, either through the BJP, the opposition Bharatiya Janata Party, or otherwise through one of its ancillaries of what is called the Sangh Parivar, you're going to atomize the Indian political scene.
Rift is going to be China.
Okay.
India will become, as far as some of the core issues of the world are concerned, the global laboratory. Income inequalities have never been more explosive than they are today. I mean, this is it's always been an unequal and hierarchical society.
India is a very stabilizing force. Indian history, Indian culture, and Indian population, Indian immigrants abroad, all this shows that India is an extraordinarily stabilizing force with the capacity for integration.
The whole world is looking at India as the future of this entire globe.
A great country, a proud country, but a country which under capitalism is unfortunately very much unequal. A country in which a part is the urban India and the rest is rural Bharat.
Hi, this is Global Forum TV, a platform for global issues with global perspectives in today's global village. In the series India 2025, we bring you eminent personalities from India. And today we have one such person who needs no introduction. He is Indra Kumar Gujral, the Prime Minister of India from 1997 to 1998. Besides being the Prime Minister, he has been in public service all his adult life. He has held such positions as Foreign Minister of India, Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Minister of Communication, Minister of Works and Housing, Minister of Science and Technology, India's Ambassador to Soviet Union. More recently, Indra Kumar Gujral was the first Chancellor of the Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Hyderabad, from 1999 to 2005. Welcome, Mr. Gujral. Thank you very much for being with Global Forum TV.
Welcome to you.
We are very happy to have you here.
Welcome.
Mr. Gujral, how do you see India today on the world scene?
You see, the perspective that you think of future naturally has to be linked with our past.
Okay.
India has come up unexpectedly by some when India became free. There were people like Churchill who thought that Indian nation is a myth.
Right.
It would not survive at all. Their diversities are such that what in Churchill's vision, this was a myth. I think in last 60 years we have proved that Indian nationhood is not a myth, it's a reality. So therefore when you think in terms of future, you must think in terms what India has done to itself in these 60 years.
Yes.
We are a large nation, we are a diverse nation.
Very.
We are a nation with a multiplicity of religions, castes, everything. And the basic thing that India has proved in these 60 years is that diversities can be an asset. And we have shown it such. We and to the leaders of this nation, we have proved that we can be diverse in every sense of the word and yet be a nation together. Those in our neighborhood, those who thought that diversity is not an asset, they could not do it, what we have done.
What is India's globalization strategy and where do you see India in the year 2025?
You see, when you look at India, it is not a question of what we look forward to. It is a continuity of. The basic thing about India is that whether you think of future or a present, we think that we are in a way trying to prove what our own nation leaders have visualized. We will continue to be a diverse nation. We will continue to uphold the cause of different nationalities, of course, in terms of different languages, religions, everything, and yet find common factors.
Okay. Do you think that India has produced any surprises?
No. Indian surprises for those who thought, like Churchill, that India would not survive.
Okay. Okay. In 2025, where do you see India in relation to superpower and regional power?
Well, I don't use the word power.
Okay.
I think these are again, whether you call superpower, regional power, that is not the way of looking at India. India has to be looked at in terms of what it has achieved and how it is achieved. I tell you an interesting anecdote. 3-4 years ago, I was visiting Libya, and President Gaddafi asked me a question. He said, how many languages do you speak? I told him, I said, if you are asking me personally, it's a very small thing. No, he wanted to know the nation. I said, but at that particular time, we had 16 official languages.
Right.
He got hold of a pen and pencil. He didn't realize how do you do it. I said, this is the strength of India.
Right.
We have different languages, we have different religions, we have different ways of life, and yet we go ahead. We have never let the diversities become a liability. When India became free, Jawaharlal Nehru, speaking in the Constituent Assembly, had said that we can be diverse, but that even then we can be. In our neighborhood, Bangladesh, why did East Bengal didn't survive together? Not because they were not wanting to, but because this vision of Jinnah, that if you are one religion, then you have to be one nation.
Okay.
That is India's strength.
Assuming that in 2025 there will be new centers of power like Brazil, Japan, China, Russia, European Union and USA and India, where do you see the rifts and the alliances?
I don't think there's a way of looking at India's future. World will always be diverse. World will always be multiplicity of many languages and strengths. From the day one, we built our foreign policy on this basis that Japanese, Chinese, anybody, we can have good relations with them. And therefore, we don't have any intention of overwhelming anybody, nor do we think anybody can overwhelm us. Therefore, we go
But
ahead.
in today's globalization scenario, some of our foreign policy and values are changing.
Globalization is a very mixed concept. What does globalization mean? Globalization to me means that we are reversed, we live with neighborhood, we like to live with each other. India and Japan have lived together for how many centuries? India and China have lived together for how many centuries? It's all right. So if globalization means capacity to tolerate each other, capacity to live with each other, I think since we have this basic paradigm, there is no danger to it.
What issues will define the relationship between these emerging powers and India? Will it be water, oil, technology, markets or population?
You see, technology, science, if you look at Indian Constitution, one of the things that Jawaharlal Nehru had said, that India wants to be a modern nation. India should be. India should be scientific temperament. India should tolerate its own neighbors. What did he do the first time? First thing Jawaharlal Nehru started with was, he called the first Asian conference, even 3-4 months before we became formally free. Why did he do it? That was his concept of calling all the neighbors of Asia and all those nations which were victims of
Colonialism.
correct. And that is a vision that will continue.